It's been a rocky start to the year in the markets, and that can cause some big plans, big decisions to be a little bit more uncertain. If I was retiring this year, these are the 5 things that I would do. I've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right. Yeah, it's been a rocky start to the year, and a lot of uncertainty. Markets don't like uncertainty, and from a planning perspective, you don't either, especially if you have huge decisions to make, and that's why you need planning. Not that planning is going to predict the future, but it's going to help you be more prepared and feel more confident in the face of an uncertain future. Are you on track? What adjustments do you need to make? And have that clarity and confidence. I can't think of a bigger financial decision than retirement. I suppose starting a business or something else. I mean, there's some in the same realm, but typically the biggest financial decision you're going to make in your life, you're going to have a lot of big ones, but retiring, when to step away from that paycheck, and doing so at a time when there's volatility and uncertainty in the markets and in the world can cause you to be a little bit apprehensive. If I was retiring this year, still in the face of all this uncertainty, these are the 5 things that I would do. First, I would review my 5-factor retirement plan. If you haven't heard us share what that is and talk about that, my goodness, I don't know how you would retire without it. You need to build that 5-factor retirement plan as you start saving up for retirement. So maybe your first one is in your 20s or 30s. It gets a little more refined in your 40s, gets more refined and real in your 50s, and then by the time you're ready to go, it's just kind of running through that analysis again. This is a look at all 5 factors that are interrelated, that work together to determine your retirement confidence. If you decide, all right, this one variable, I'm going to retire a year earlier, or I want to spend a lot more money, or whatever. Any variable, any decision is going to impact your choices and options in the other. That's why these 5 factors are interrelated. So I would update and I would review that plan. In the midst of the uncertainty, that's the blueprint. That's the game plan. That is, does this work? Okay. And then not only would I review it and make sure that my retirement is still confident, and that 1,000 stress tests is still leading to a confident ratio, confident result. I would then apply additional stress tests. And what are those? A stress test. Let's assume we spend a little bit more than what we're projecting. If we spend a little bit more, and I don't know what a little bit means to you, maybe 10% more or an extra 1,000 a month, something like that, see what that does to the plan. And then I would stress test again manually to say, well, what if the investment returns are as high as what we're projecting? Hopefully you are not projecting wonderful investment returns, that your investment expectations are reasonable, right, connected to history. But stress test it again and say, let's assume they're a little bit worse than what history's performed, what history's done. How does the plan work then? So update your retirement plan, review that 5-factor retirement plan, and then apply additional stress tests. That's the first thing that I would do. Second, then, sort of an outflow of that 5-factor retirement plan, I'd build out my income plan. This is where you're going to optimize how you're going to draw Social Security. You're going to draw Social Security right away, or you're going to delay for a year, you're going to delay for a certain time period, or you're going to delay all the way until 70. This is where I would update that. From that 5-factor retirement plan, you've already made those decisions. That income plan then is that next step right before turning those income sources on. So this is, again, confirming exactly what will Social Security be, exactly when your first paycheck will be, or first Social Security check will be. Done a lot of videos on that here. Those, the 1-month lag, and then which Wednesday will it fall, and it can be a little confusing. And so having all that clarity, but then specifically, how much are you drawing out of your investments, exactly which investment account is that going to come from, and exactly which investment is that withdrawal going to come from as well. I would build out that income plan, and that will help your planning be more tangible in the face of all this uncertainty. Okay, exactly where is the paycheck coming from? We know the plan works. That was step 1. Exactly where's the income coming from? Is that going to be enough? Which day is it showing up? That would give you even more confidence in the face of this uncertainty. It's like building blocks, because then the third is I would review my investment strategies and my portfolio to ensure that it's consistent with my financial plan, my retirement plan, that first objective, and can fulfill that income plan. Okay, I've shared this a lot. And obviously, with a lot of uncertainty, it's causing a lot of people to question their investment strategies. Not that anyone could have built a portfolio or projection based on exactly what we're experiencing right now, but an awareness of, well, wait a second, if we do face some volatility, is my plan still intact? Or does my retirement portfolio, an investment portfolio, wag the dog? No. If you're about to retire, if I'm retiring this year, I know that I've got 2 to 3 years already in short-term investments that have not been volatile with the market. I know I have that confidence, and that is going to feed that income plan that we just did in step 2. I know that I've got another 5 to 7 years in hedge strategies or buffers or kind of intermediate strategies that have some upside potential, but also have some very clear ways that they're playing defense. And then that gives me the peace of mind that the money I'm not going to need for 10 plus years, yeah, that might be 60-40, that might be 80-20, might be 70-30, that might be a little higher percentage in stocks, but I know those dollars have a certain job to do. Not to be safe today, I've already got that covered. Though that long-term bucket, their job is to keep up with inflation long-term. And so those are the dollars I'm okay having be a little bit more volatile. So third step, if I'm retiring this year, I'm ensuring my investment strategies are set up to support and fulfill that retirement. Fourth, I'd meet with a Medicare expert. And I wouldn't wait until I retire or right before I'm done. I would have that discussion a year in advance or the year that I'm about to retire. Hopefully you've been discussing this with your CFP all along, and they're educating you on the 2 different approaches to Medicare, traditional Medicare or Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part C, the pros and cons, what your options are. If you're retiring before you're eligible for Medicare, again, that you are clear on, well, should I do COBRA? Do I do a marketplace plan at healthcare.gov? What are my other options? What makes the most sense? Then how does that seamlessly transition into Medicare? I'd have those discussions immediately and upfront, so I'd get that learning, get that awareness. I'd have a game plan in place so that when it's time to retire or in the month or 2 right before retiring, I have a follow-up discussion with that Medicare expert, and we're ready to start implementing the plan, and it's perfectly clear. At retirement, that's the biggest decision, health insurance decision you're going to make in your life, the biggest health insurance change that's going to happen in your life as well. You want to have a long runway, a lot of analysis and understanding of your options, so you know and have confidence you're making the right choice. And then fifth, last thing that I would do if I'm retiring this year in the face of all this uncertainty is I would review my tax shelter strategy. And really that's 2-pronged. In my last year of work, what are the tax shelters that I'm going to be funding? This is your last year to fund a 401k, maybe fund a Roth IRA. What are we doing? Like where are we playing offense with our tax strategy? But then the second is, what's the first several years look like in retirement from a tax standpoint, that multi-year tax projection? Because that will reveal, should we be doing Roth conversion? Should we do a donor advised fund? If you're retiring later, QCDs, a qualified charitable distribution, is that an option? I'd build out both the strategy for this year, tax shelter strategy for this year, but then also that multi-year tax projection as well, so that it was clear what your tax shelter strategy is. Those are the 5 steps. In the face of uncertainty or in bright, sunny skies, those are the 5 steps that I'm working through with my CFP if I'm retiring this year. So work with your CFP on that. Make sure that they're doing comprehensive financial planning, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, ensuring they're connected and there's synergy there. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one of my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.